Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Brothers channel. And this is my versus video between the Nike LeBron 18 and the Nike LeBron 19. So both of these shoes retail for 200 bucks. Yes, super ridiculously expensive actually. Nike's most expensive model, I guess, besides the Adapt, right? So if you guys do want to get it, I'll try to leave a link in the description box. The LeBron 19 is still not out in the US, unfortunately, but the 18 is, and it is on sale, or some colorways are on sale. But anyways, let's get started off with the Tracciones, right? So the LeBron 18 actually has a very good bite. Like when you first get it, it's not the greatest. It's still like not that bad, but it's not the best, right? But then once you start playing in it and you give it a little bit, like a week or two to break in, actually starts to get really, really good. Also at first, doesn't really squeak all too much, but once you break it in a lot, it starts to squeak a lot more, which of course I do like. So the LeBron 18 actually has a pretty good stuff, not the best, but a pretty damn good bite. Also on dust, it does pick up a little bit of dust, but once you do like a little wipe, you're good to go. But for durability is not good. As you guys can see from the rubber, it's super thin, it's very, very soft. And I also did play outdoors with the LeBron 18, so yeah, do not play with the 18s outdoors. For the LeBron 19 on a clean court, it has a pretty okay bite, still not good. I don't know how you have like a mediocre bite. Oh, it's not mediocre, I would say it's like okay or pretty good, but then it's on a clean court, you know what I mean? On dust though, you do slide out a good amount, especially on like doing lateral, very hard lateral movements actually. So dust, you probably should not get the LeBron 19. As far as durability goes, durability also doesn't seem like it's going to be the best here in the LeBron 19 either, because of these little nubs. And I don't know what Nike's doing. I hate it when they give us nubs, because nubs usually aren't very durable, and also just give us a herringbone, you know, and a good rubber compound, and we have good traction, right? So overall, just in my experience, the LeBron 18 is better for traction. Now moving on to the heel to toe transition. So here in the LeBron 19, we have a nice curve shape here in the heel, and also we have this crazy Air Max unit which compresses a lot. The feel is pretty damn smooth. So I really had no problems here in the heel. Also in the forefoot, we have a pretty curved shape. Doesn't really flex at all here in the forefoot, but the shape definitely does help it feel very smooth here in the forefoot. So I really had no issues with the heel to toe transitions. Actually very, very smooth running down the court. And same thing here in the LeBron 18. The LeBron 18 is also super duper smooth, nice curved shape, fully exposed Air Max unit with a lot of compression. In the forefoot, I would actually say the LeBron 18 is a little bit more curved, so that's definitely something I noticed that was actually pretty different. Is that once I put a little bit of weight in, like obviously the front of my foot, I kind of just like wanted to propel forward because of this shape, right? And also it's a little bit smoother just because of this extra flex you get here in the forefoot. And also, as you guys can see, we have a forefoot flex groove. So I would say it's overall a little bit smoother in the LeBron 18, although the LeBron 19 is still pretty damn smooth. All right, now moving on to the cushioning setup. So it is pretty different, right? So here in the LeBron 18, as you guys all know, we have a full length zoom unit which feels extremely nice. It's super bouncy right underneath your foot. It also improves the stepping comfort a lot. We have a very large Air Max unit here in the heel, and I believe this is Cushlon, but it doesn't really matter because you have that full length zoom unit right underneath your foot. Anyway, you can't really feel the Cushlon, but anyways, I would say just in my personal opinion, I like the LeBron 18 cushioning setup better, just because of that full length zoom unit that's right underneath your foot. That feels really, really nice, right? The LeBron 19, on the other hand, you don't have a full length zoom unit. You actually have a very large volume zoom unit here in the forefoot, but it's kind of like that unit that's encased in this plastic that's underneath your foot, right? So you don't really feel your foot digging into the zoom unit as much as the LeBron 18. I mean, definitely comparing it to like the LeBron 15 and 16, you can feel the zoom unit underneath the foot a little bit easier, but definitely not as crazy as the LeBron 18, right? So that definitely does suck. But if you want overall a little bit more of a bouncier feeling here in the forefoot, it's kind of like that springboard effect when you're like running down the court or like sprinting down the court and you're like on your forefoot a lot. You definitely feel that little spring, right? Or actually a lot of spring. So if you like that, then the LeBron 19 is going to be a little bit bouncier from that. But you know, just in my personal preference, I like to feel that zoom unit right underneath my foot a little bit better, right? And then also here in the heel, we have a crazy large volume Air Max unit. Actually, it's dual chambered and all that. I would actually say there is less compression than the LeBron 18. I don't know what it is. Maybe I guess it does look a little bit thinner, right? I guess it is just a tiny bit thinner maybe? I don't know, or maybe the PSI is lower. Now the PSI seems pretty similar. The LeBron 19 Air Max unit feels a little bit thinner, and also the shape maybe. It does bulge out a little bit. I don't know what it is, but the LeBron 19 definitely has a less compression than the LeBron 18. Also, another difference is that the LeBron 19 has a better court feel. Although it's still not great, especially comparing it to like, you know, Kyrie's or Curry's or whatever. It's still not good for court feel, but it's better than the LeBron 18. I feel like that zoom unit, when I had both of these shoes on at the same time, I felt my foot a little bit higher up off the ground. Probably the extra couple of millimeters that you get from the zoom unit. So of course it's not that easy to tell. Yeah, I mean, I could only tell when I had both of the shoes on at the same time, but still, I guess as far as nitpicking goes, the LeBron 19 has just a tiny bit better court feel. Of course, impact protection is still really, really good in both of the shoes. They're still super bouncy. It just depends on what kind of bounce that you want. Like if you want something right underneath the foot, LeBron 18. If you want something more of like a springboard effect, especially in the forefoot, go with the LeBron 19. So there is no right or wrong answer here as far as what's better. I would just say in my personal opinion, I like the LeBron 18 cushioning setup better. All right, moving on to the materials. So it is pretty different coming from the 18 to the 19 here, right? So here in the LeBron 18, we have a nice knit posit. I believe they called it like the knit posit 2.0. It's just like a pretty thick and very cozy knit material, right? And it's pretty much throughout this entire upper, well, I guess in the forefoot and here in the midfoot. It's super soft. Once you break it in, it feels very, very comfortable on foot. But like I said, the caveat is it's a little thick. It's a little thick, not super crazy thick or crazy bulky, but it's a little bit thicker than like, you know, like the Curry 8 material or something like that. Here in the LeBron 19, it definitely feels a little bit thinner, right? But I would say it's just as soft. It still feels like pretty cozy. Of course, not as cozy as the knit posit, but like on foot, they both feel pretty similar. Besides, I guess the LeBron 19 material feeling a little bit more minimal, just a tiny bit, right? As far as the tongue goes, the LeBron 19 also like doesn't have a whole lot of padding. And all, if you guys remember the LeBron 18 with this crappy synthetic material, right? Not a whole lot of padding either. And as far as the Air Max units, I guess the LeBron 19 does it a little bit better because the laces do go over it, but it's still pretty useless. So Air Max units don't really do a whole lot. And then here in the ankle area, the LeBron 18 actually has Achilles pillows, which I really like. For the LeBron 19, there's really nothing. There's just a tiny bit of padding here. So I would say it's a little bit more minimal, but of course we have like these like Air Max units here on the sides of the shoe as well, here in the ankle, which don't really do a whole lot because of this inner booty. So your ankle isn't right on top of this Air Max unit, right? But anyways, what feels better on foot? I would pretty much tie it up. You know, they both feel very cozy, very comfortable. If you want something a little bit more minimal though, I would say the LeBron 19 is the better option, but like I said, it's not that big of a difference. All right, moving on to the fit. I went true to size for both of these shoes and it fits me extremely well. Actually, like pretty much the same, right? So lengthwise, I was good to go. My toes pretty much go right to the edge of the shoe. Widthwise, it's also slightly narrow, and here in the toe box, it is pretty snug. It's not as snug as like the KD 14 or the KD 13 or the Kyrie 7s. So yeah, I mean, it's a nice snug fit for me. If you like a roomy fit or you have a wide or thick foot, probably go up half a size or maybe even a full size. Also, both of these shoes are pretty damn easy to put on. We have a very high heel tab. It actually looks pretty much identical as far as the inner booty goes for the ankle part right here in the back. So that's a nice little feature as well. All right, moving on to the support and lockdown, right? So for lateral containment, the LeBron 18, for me personally, it was pretty good. But I feel like if you're heavier, there's really no lateral cage here in the forefoot, and you might feel a little bit of your foot coming out of the footbed just because there's no lateral count. I mean, this material is very supportive and doesn't stretch at all, but it might roll over, so just be careful on that. But of course, here in the heel, we have an external TPU heel counter with this like plastic and stuff. So for me personally, I was okay. But like I said, if you're heavier and you're shifty, you should probably be careful, right? But here in the LeBron 19, really have no issues, right? So my foot felt really, really contained into the shoe. Fit was great. Once I tightened up the laces, the flywire tightens up onto your foot. Yeah, here in the forefoot we have the foam coming up. Here in the midfoot we have this plastic, as well as like it's kind of like a midfoot chain plate. It's all like one piece. And then here in the heel, we have the foam coming up, as well as an internal TPU heel counter. So lateral containment, I would say, is better in the LeBron 19, which is of course a good thing. And also ankle support is better, right? So it's not great, it's not amazing. Like if you want something amazing, kind of like you guys remember, I believe it was called like the UA Drive 4, where it was like super high. Or remember the Clutch Fit Drive, the original Clutch Fit Drive, and they also made like a crazy high version of that as well, I believe. Those shoes had really good ankle support, right? So you're not gonna get that type of ankle support in the LeBron 19. You just get a little bit of ankle mobility restriction, just a tiny bit, but of course it's better than the LeBron 18, which is pretty much a low top shoe. So ankle support is better in the LeBron 19, and of course lateral stability is better as well. So if we look at the width of the shoe, as you guys can see, look at how much wider the LeBron 19 is. Look at that. It's just, oh my goodness, that's a good like inch here in the forefoot as well as here in the heel. I don't know if you guys can see that, but yeah, it's just way wider and it's way more stable, right? So that's something that I had a little bit of an issue in for the LeBron 18. It's just that I never really rolled my ankle in the 18, and it wasn't like super dangerous for me personally, but it was always in the back of my mind where it's just like I have to be careful when I'm landing and stuff. Of course, you want to try to be careful when you're landing and stuff, but sometimes I just want to play, you know what I mean? But when I was playing in the LeBron 18, it's just always in the back of my mind that, oh, I gotta land carefully and all that, right? In the LeBron 19, I felt a lot more stable and also a lot safer. So if that's something that you worried about in the 18, the 19 definitely fixed that, right? So for supporting lockdown, I would say in pretty much every single category in supporting lockdown, the LeBron 19 is better. All right, moving on to the weight of the shoe. All right, so the LeBron 18, as you guys know, is pretty damn heavy, coming in at 15.45 ounces. So you'd be like, yeah, damn, that's heavy, and LeBron needs to make some lighter shoes, right? Here comes the LeBron 18 with thinner materials. So you'd be like, ooh, maybe it's a lighter shoe. No, I believe it was like 18 ounces. Yep, 18.1 ounces. Holy crap. That is way heavier. Does it feel heavy? Yeah, actually, it definitely does feel a lot heavier, right? So the LeBron 19, I could get through like a game or two, but after that, I definitely felt the weight and I really felt fatigued when I was playing with the LeBron 19, right? The LeBron 18, I could definitely go a little bit more than a couple of games, and also I didn't feel as fatigued as opposed to when I was wearing the LeBron 19. So of course, if weight is an issue and you want something lightweight, you should probably stay away from both of these shoes and get something else, right? But if you want the overall lighter shoe, then get the LeBron 18. Also, it is more responsive just because the traction is better. All right, moving on to the ventilation. Both of these shoes are hot. I would say the LeBron 18 is a little bit hotter, but the LeBron 19 is still pretty hot. So there you go. And then moving on to the aesthetics. I don't know, guys. I feel like I like the LeBron 19 a little bit better. 18 isn't bad, but I feel like the 19 overall looks a little bit better in my opinion. So tell us what you guys think looks better down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, just for performance, in my opinion, I feel like the LeBron 18 is better just because the traction is better, and I like that full-length zoom unit. I like the cushioning better in the LeBron 18 a little bit more as well. But of course, there are some cons with the LeBron 18, like it's not very stable. Also, you're a little bit higher up off the ground and stuff like that. So I mean, the LeBron 19 is definitely more stable, more supportive, but of course the traction isn't the best, and it's super freaking heavy, right? So although I probably won't play, or none of these shoes are in my like rotation, right? But I would just say that the LeBron 18 would probably be in my rotation a lot more than the LeBron 19. So as far as like who would like the LeBron 19 more, like I feel like if you want more support, then get the LeBron 19. That's about it. Right? I feel like the LeBron 18 does pretty much everything a little bit better. But anyways, that about wraps it up. Pretty disappointed in the LeBron 19 actually, just because I had a lot of hopes. I mean, I definitely thought it was gonna be a lot lighter. I thought it was gonna be like 12, 13 ounces. I don't know why, it just looks a little bit lighter, right? But once I got it in, I was like, yo, this is heavier, right? And I played in it, and it's not super nice, just in my opinion. So anyways, that about concludes this versus video. Again, if you guys do want to cop either of these shoes, I'll try to leave an affiliate link in the description box. But that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.